What's up, Bulls Nation? It's the Bloody Horns podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Let's get into it, man. So another day, another Alex Caruso trade rumor, another trade rumor of the Chicago Bulls trying to stockpile picks in this draft. And you guys know how I feel about this draft, man. It is the weakest draft class since 2000. And I know there's people on Twitter who are saying there's gems to be found in this draft. Don't listen to the hype. This draft is stronger than the experts are making it out to be. But I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to believe the experts. I'm going to believe the guys who do this for a living that are telling us this is the weakest draft since 2000 over somebody on Twitter. That's just the way I'm wired. Call me old school, but I'm going to leave it to the pros when it comes to this scouting thing, and I'm going to trust them when they say it's the weakest draft since 2000. If you guys are a little too young, let me take you on a trip down memory lane to what the 2000 draft was. So Kenyon Martin, he went number 1 overall. He had a fine career. He lasted a while in the NBA. He made one All-Star game. Shout out to Jason Kidd for that. He carried him to that All-Star game. But he was never in the conversation for like an elite player. He was never in the top 5 power forward discussion of his era. He's one of those dudes who he makes a really good TikTok highlight. You know, I'm sure you could find right now Kenyon Martin was a problem TikTok highlight of all the lobs he would throw down, all the putback dunks, all the stuff like that. But he wasn't that much of an impact player, if we're being honest, especially not for a number 1 pick. That's not what you want out of a number 1 pick. Number 2 was Stromile Swift. Elite athlete, freak of nature, did nothing in the NBA. Very Tyrese Thomas-like with that. They even both came from LSU. Number 3 was Darius Miles, who high school phenom. You know, he's another guy. I'm sure there's TikTok highlights out there that are saying Darius Miles was a problem, got him throwing down lobs, you know, doing the knucklehead celebration, all that, but he didn't really make an impact in the NBA. He was doing a little bit on the Blazers at the end of his career. I think he was at like 15 points a game. He had a 40-point game at one point, and then he had a knee injury that ended his career, but still he was a very one-dimensional player. He never really developed his game. I think his career average was like 9 points a game. The rookie of the year that year was Mike Miller. He averaged 10 points a game for a shitty Orlando Magic team. So it was a very weak draft class. You know, Mike Miller probably had the best career out of all those guys, got himself a ring with the Heat. It's either him or Kenyon Martin in that draft class, but very weak draft, not an impact draft. And that's what people are saying this draft class is. So I think we should trade Alex Caruso. I've been on that bandwagon for a while. I think he's the only trade chip that we got. Zach LaVine has no trade value. Nikola Vucevic has no trade value. Pat Williams, he's a restricted free agent. DeMar DeRozan's an unrestricted free agent. Kobe White has trade value. I don't think you trade him with the contract he's on. Same with Ayo Dosunmu. They're both like 23, 24 years old, so I don't see the need to trade them. But outside of that, we have no trade pieces. Nobody's really going to trade for Lonzo until they see what Lonzo can do on the court. And I'm on record saying I'd rather see what Lonzo can do in a Bulls uniform than see him start his comeback process in another uniform. So Alex Caruso has the most trade value on the team. I think we should trade him. I think that's the move. If we could call up the Golden State Warriors and be like, give us Moses Moody and like a 2028 top 3, top 5 protected first-round pick, doing that in a heartbeat. I would trade him for future draft picks. I would not trade him for a draft pick in this draft class. If we can get a 2025 draft pick, 2026 draft pick, 27, 28, whatever. A future draft pick is going to be more valuable. And my thought process behind this isn't just looking at how weak this draft is. It's looking at how strong the future drafts are. So let's say next year we fail miserably. We get like the 4th overall pick. If we've traded Alex Caruso for 2 draft picks in this draft, then we got 2 rookies. Teams aren't really going to be interested in rookies from a weak class. They're going to be more interested in future draft picks. So that would give us more capital, more ammo to move up in that draft to try to get Cooper Flagg or whoever we're looking at in that draft. So Alex Caruso has a lot of trade value. I hope the Chicago Bulls make the move, but I hope it's not for a draft pick in this draft class. And if Alex Caruso's trade value is the 16th pick in a weak class, then AK needs to be fired, because I can promise you his value was much higher the last two trade deadlines. So if you turn down better offers the last 2 trade deadlines, and then you end up settling for the 16th overall pick in this draft, you got to lose your job at that point, my boy. I mean, a lot of people think AK should lose his job. I'm on that bandwagon too, but trading Alex Caruso for the 16th overall pick, that'd be a disaster. And Philly doesn't really have any young players that I'm interested in. Obviously, Tyrese Maxey, he's that dude, but they're not trading him for fucking Alex Caruso. They're not trading him for anything. And outside of that, their roster really doesn't have any young prospects that I'm interested in. They're very similar to the Chicago Bulls that way. They're obviously just much better because they have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. So this rumor, man, I'm all the way out on this rumor. Like I said, my favorite Alex Caruso rumor would be trading him to Golden State for Moses Moody, who he's a proven commodity. He's at least shown he can shoot at the NBA level. Maybe we get him into Chicago, he gets a bigger role, and then a future draft pick. I even like that trade more than the one that's floated out there, Alex Caruso to Houston for the 3rd pick. Like I said, I'm not big on this draft, guys, so I would trade him for future draft picks. But you guys let me know in the comments what your ideal Alex Caruso trade is, or if you want to keep Alex Caruso, let me know why, because his contract's up after this year, and he's such a competitive dude. Why would he re-sign in Chicago, even if he loves it here, when he knows we ain't winning shit anytime soon?